You don't just walk into Neyland Stadium and get a win.
Rocky
Tennessee has won 6 straight SEC home games, hosting Texas A&M on CBS. Aggies have lost 7 straight road games. Aggies opening drive, second and goal, play action, Max Johnson. And B-Mac, he's just going to do it himself.
Sometimes you got to improvise, right?
Improvisation.
No question. Great way to start the ball game, especially on the road.
Aggies up 7-0. First rushing touchdown for him since he was with LSU a couple years ago. Late first quarter, Joe Milton, psych, finds a tight end, Jacob Warren. We're tied at 7, but the Vols trail 10-7 at the break. 0-9 when trailing at halftime under Josh Heupel. Looking to change that. First drive in the third, going for it on 4th and 7. Do you think this was a good decision?
Got to wait and see.
Nope.
Exactly. I don't know what's up with all these coaches going for it on 4th down. It's okay to kick field goals or punt and allow your defense to do what they've been called to do.
Aggies lead FBS in sacks. With the Tennessee offense struggling, special teams comes through. Look at this.
Yes, special teams, they were in their bag today.
Wow. That was D. Williams that downed this at the 1.
Game of inches.
And the reason why I say you need to remember D. Williams' name, because he's going to come up here in a second. A&M will go 3 and out. They're punting deep in their own territory.
This was a defining moment, Hakeem, right here.
Game changer.
Backed up. Nice vision. Big time play. Hakeem, coach once told me you got to be special to play special teams.
That is pretty special.
Yes.
You know what else? Someone once told me you got to score more points than the other team to win the game.
Yeah.
That's key. Tennessee takes the lead up 14-10, but the offense still struggling. Milton intercepted by Josh DeBerry, and the Aggies take over.
Yeah. Being a former defender, both defenses played pretty good football in this matchup.
A&M would drive down the field, ensuing drive to set up to take a field goal, and no.
It was a bad miss.
50 yards away.
Bad miss.
So Tennessee still has the lead 14-13. They'd add a field goal to go up 17-13. Next A&M drive, Max Johnson towards the sideline and intercepted.
Pressing.
Tennessee would add another field goal
return
to take a 20-13 lead.
That was a great opportunity for the Aggies defense, being able to force them to a field goal. Gave your offense another opportunity.
So with just one timeout, Aggies get one last chance to score a touchdown to tie the game.
Max, you're pressing.
Tip drill.
All game.
Kamal Haddon. Nice play there by Kamal.
In fact, the Volunteers defense, man, can play some football.
It was all 3 phases, B-Mac. It was the defense, it was special teams, and it was the run game.
Attack.
Jalen Wright, 19 carries, 136 yards as they finish with 237 as a team. And you could say they survive at home, 20-13, defeating the Aggies, their 7th straight SEC home win and their 13th straight home win overall. And we told you that they had not won when trailing at halftime. Well, they win after trailing at halftime under Josh Heupel, and Josh Heupel with our Jenny Dell postgame.
Coach, this team needed this win to stay alive in the SEC. How much fight did it take to secure this victory out there?
You saw a great amount of heart from these guys all day long. Man, what an awesome atmosphere. This was a special performance. I think our fans played a part in the game, and I know our damn defense did. This D-line wreck shop all dang day.
Your fans definitely played a part in this game, and they brought it. This defense definitely brought it for 60 minutes. How were they difference makers out there?
They just continued to grow from the time we've gotten here. Coach Banks, that defensive staff, the guys that have been here, Tyler Barron, that entire crew stepping up. They were relentless. They played with great physicality all day long. Disrupted the run game, made the quarterback uncomfortable all day long.
Congratulations, Coach. Tyler Barron, come on over here.
Maybe.
All right, Tyler. This defense and this team, the mantra this year has been belief and expectation. How did that come alive tonight against A&M?
You know, we just tried to do what we do, you know. We try not to focus on the opponent too much. We try to just, as a defense, just be a family and play hard for one another. And we liked how we ended out tonight, so we're glad we got the win.
I know you said you don't focus on the opponent, but next week you got Alabama coming up. What can you take from this victory and move forward in preparation for next week?
Just taking how hard we played today. I think as a defensive unit, you see all 11 has getting to the ball. So just carrying that over and building off of that, seeing how much better we can get and how much more we can improve.
Congratulations on the win.
Thank you so much.
Take a look at this, B-Mac. You know what they say? Good teams win, great teams cover.
Yes, sir.
Past 6 home games.
Wow.
6-0 straight up, 6-0 ATS.
I think it's safe to say you should bet on Tennessee at home.
You should. Next week, they are not at home. They're on the road at Alabama as the Tide look to avenge that loss from 1 year ago. Hakeem Dermish here in studio with two-time Super Bowl champ and former Florida State standout Bryant McFadden. B-Mac, really all three phases for Tennessee. More so the run game, but the defense and the special teams is what separated this game for Tennessee. What did you see?
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Hakeem, when you talk about the defense prevailing, playing outstanding football, especially in the red area, you know, forcing Max Johnson in difficult situations, coming up with huge interceptions. They kind of led the way for their team. And then offensively, didn't really see a lot from the quarterback in Joe Milton for Tennessee, but the running game, the pound, the rushing attack led the way once again. That has been the common theme for Tennessee in regards to rushing the football. I mean, they came into this ball game averaging 6.2 yards per rush, which is second best in FBS behind Oregon. And once again, that consistency showed up big time for Tennessee and allowed them to be in positions to be able to execute and, most importantly, put points on the scoreboard when they needed to do so.
Well, you see the rushing yards, 237 to 54. And that's thanks in part to one of the best rushing attacks in FBS, Jalen Wright leading the way there for the Volunteers. Look, you don't just walk into Neyland Stadium and get a win.
Yeah.
They have now won 13 straight home games for Texas A&M. They have now lost 8 straight road games, and it's sort of like, Jimbo Fisher, what are we doing here at this point, at this juncture? Because your quarterback, you lose your quarterback, you got to go to your backup. So I understand the situation that Texas A&M is in. It's not a great situation. But for Tennessee here, there's got to be some concerns for Joe Milton.
No question.
Because what we saw in the Orange Bowl at the end of last season was awesome. I felt like we almost got teased. Like this could be an elite quarterback, and he has not been an elite quarterback quite yet.
Now, he hasn't delivered based on the expectations. Of course, the talent. Hakeem, he has one of the stronger arms in all of college football. And you talked about what he did in that bowl game that led to the hype that was following Joe Milton coming into this season. And he hasn't really lived up to the billing. And this kind of reminds me a little bit of before the Hendon Hooker era began in Tennessee. Remember, Joe Milton was the starting quarterback. Clearly didn't live up to the expectations, and they weren't really doing a lot offensively. And in comes Hendon Hooker. We saw a different offense dramatically when you talk about Hendon Hooker being able to execute and orchestrate positivity on the offensive side. And what we're seeing now from Joe Milton has been inconsistencies. You talk about the arm strength. He has that, but the accuracy issues have really showed up. And once again, it showed up today in this matchup against the Aggies. But because of how well the Volunteers defense played and the rushing attack, it was okay that he wasn't at his best.
Well, Tennessee survives, as does their opponent next week. Alabama had to gut out a second-half win against Arkansas earlier this afternoon, and Tennessee does the same thanks to all three phases. Defense, special teams, and the run game really was key in this victory as Tennessee runs its winning streak in Knoxville to 13 in a row. Get right to the site. Welcome to the man who called this game, former NFL and college quarterback Gary Danielson. Gary, you talked about before the game the key to this game was going to be the run game. And in fact, it was, in addition to a couple other phases of the football game. But if Tennessee doesn't run the football the way they did today, they don't win this game.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I thought that was the matchup that counted, but it counted even more than I thought. You know, Tennessee only throwing for 100 yards. This Joe Milton thing is a little bit confusing. I heard you guys discussing it. I mean, the guy has got super potential. He's a 6th-year quarterback. You know, he's got a lot of experience both at Michigan, good coaching, and he still makes simple mistakes, missing easy receivers, not checking out primary reads. One wonders, as good as this Tennessee defense is it going to be enough if they don't get better quarterback play from Joe Milton?
Yeah, that's certainly the question moving forward, because as you know, this schedule doesn't get any easier. I mean, this is an absolute gauntlet for Tennessee going forward. It's Alabama, it's Kentucky, it's Missouri on the road, and then Georgia. So the schedule makers did no favors to Tennessee this season. When you look at their game going into next week and what happened last season against Alabama, being able to knock them off, what does this win mean for Tennessee?
I just think that the program believes in each other. You know, they believe in Josh Heupel. They kind of now the number of games you're winning. Once you start winning, you just look at each other and go, we're going to find a way to win one way or another. You know, the light's going to go on in the passing game sooner or later. We'll get there. It'll either be running one week, we'll find the passing game, but if the defense has to win it, they'll win it. If we need a perfect punt and a punt return, we'll find a way to do it. I've been in this league a long time. For many, many, many years, watching Tennessee football, Tennessee found ways to lose games. Now they're finding ways to win games. That means the team and the program is in the right direction.
Indeed, and they have now won 13 straight home games. Gary, we will see you next week in Tuscaloosa. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right, Gary Danielson here on CBS Sports HQ as he points out Tennessee finding a way to win. They did not find a way to win at Florida, but again, you go to these stadiums in the SEC on the road, they're not easy to play. You go to the Swamp, you know, it's tough to play there. Look, you play at Missouri. We saw last year Georgia almost lost. I mean, that was a real squirrely game when Georgia went to Missouri. You go to these schools, you never know what could happen. And now next week they go to Alabama, and you know what Alabama's thinking. We want some revenge against the Volunteers.
Yes, sir.
All right, time now for the Belfour Player of the Game. B-Mac, who you got? Who's your player of the game from Tennessee and Texas A&M?
We've been talking about the rushing attack for the Volunteers, so it's only right that I name Jalen Wright my player of the game for this game. Outstanding effort. Once again, 19 carries for 136 yards. Hakeem, he averaged almost a first down per carry, 7.1 yards average to be exact. And that's right around what he's been doing the entire season. He's been so consistent in regards to the rushing element for Tennessee. And like I said, Jalen Wright is the right guy for me to pick as my player of the game. Well deserved.
Indeed. They run the ball for over 230 yards in the victory, but really let's give credit all three phases, offense, defense, and special teams for Tennessee, as they have now won 7 straight conference home games and again 13 in a row overall at Neyland Stadium.